Hello everyone, welcome back to Sai Homeschool. Please like, share and subscribe my channel. Last classes we discussed all the chapters of class 10 chemistry, that is chemical reactions and equations, acids, bases, salts, and third chapter it is metals and non-metals. Now we will study carbon and its compounds. So carbon and its compound, it is one of the fundamental chapter to understand the organic chemistry. So before going to the chapter, we should know. So it is a one fundamental chapter. If you understand this chapter, the understanding of organic chemistry in future, it will be very easy. So what is organic chemistry? So organic means life. So organic means life. So life means something it is natural. So means it is a organic means life. That is, so organic compounds. So what are these organic compounds? Organic compounds, the compounds, that is organic compounds. So organic means life. In that, the compounds it will come. That organic compounds mean the compounds which will be made up of carbon and hydrogen. So many other atoms also it will be present. That is oxygen, phosphorus, chlorine, nitrogen, bromine. So in the compounds it must contain carbon and hydrogen. There is a crores of organic compounds will be present in our nature. That some organic compounds it will be naturally it will be present, some it will be artificially synthesized organic compounds it will be present. Study of these organic compounds we will call it as a organic chemistry. That is organic chemistry. Study of organic compounds is called organic compounds. That is organic compounds means the compounds is made up of carbon and hydrogen. That you in this chapter we will study all about the carbon. So why this carbon is much special? So if it is having another elements also, why it is very special? If we use something in our day-to-day life, the things that everything it will be made, these are all organic compounds. Those are all things it will be made up of carbon. So this is all based on versatile nature of carbon that we will study in this chapter. So what is the versatile nature of why the carbon has versatile nature? Why the carbon is unique? That is, we will study. We should understand this carbon and its compound with detail. So if you know this carbon and its compounds, then if you go on class 11 and 12, the organic chemistry, the people or students will feel it is difficult. But if you understand the basic concepts in organic chemistry will be very easy. So that you have to be concentrate on this chapter. So be learn how it will be happened. So if you come to the carbon, so why that much special has the carbon? What is the versatile nature of carbon? Why we will call a carbon is unique? So because there is a two main properties we have to for the carbon. One, it is the tetravalency. This because of this tetravalency, carbon has unique nature or versatile nature. Tetravalency. Tetra means name itself indicates tetra means four. Tetravalency means number of electrons it will be present in the outermost shell. That is tetravalency is one property and another is catenation. These two things we'll study in this class. So what is tetravalency and what is catenation? So all the compounds will be made up of carbon. So why carbon is very special in the nature. So why we need to study organic compounds means the compounds made up of carbon and hydrogen. That is, so because of versatile nature of carbon, that is versatile nature it is because of tetravalency and catenation. So we already know that. So here if you observe the carbon make covalent bonds. We know ionic bonds. What is covalent bond? So the bonding in carbon is ionic bond. It is not a covalent bond. We know ionic bonds means the bond between the two ions. Means if you take a NaCl, Na plus and Na plus and Cl minus. There is a bond between the positive and negative charges here. There is a force of attraction between these two ions will be more, so that more Eiling and boiling point the ionic compounds having we studied in the last class. And also in this molten state they will produce conduct a electricity in this molten state because they will produce the ion. So if you come to the covalent bond is formed by sharing of electrons. Here attraction of positive and negative ions it will be present, but here what will happen? It will share the electrons. By sharing electrons, it will form a bond. So tetravalency, we already know what is the atomic number for carbon is 6. So if you write the electronic configuration, 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. So number of electrons present in the outermost shell, how much we will get? 4 electrons here. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. It has 4 electrons in the outermost shell. What will happen? It will lose electrons or it will gain electrons, outermost electrons to get active structure, to get the stable for the outermost electron. What will happen here? It will lose the electron or may it will gain the electron. So that we'll observe that. So here it cannot gain the electron and it cannot lose the electron. So if you observe here, so the carbon by gaining the electron, what will happen? It will become a to gain the electron 4 minus anion. It is carbon 4 minus. It is difficult to gain the electron. Why means we know that there is a nucleus. It will be present around. There is the electrons around the nucleus. There is already here it is the first shell. It has 2 electrons. Here 1, 2, 3, 4 electrons already is there in the carbon. So if it gain the another 4 electron to get the active structure, what it has to do? The nucleus has to wait. These 4 electrons also along with this 6 electrons. So when it gain the another 4 electrons to get active structure, it is not able to hold the 10 electrons around the nucleus. So now the nucleus, it cannot hold all the electrons, gaining electrons, what it gain, 4 electrons, that electrons also it cannot hold. So if it lost the 4 electrons to get active structure, so it has 4 electrons is not easy, it has more energy required to lose these 4 electrons. So if it lost the 4 electrons, what will happen? Carbon 4 plus cation. So if it lost, it needs some more energy. It is not easy thing to lose the 4 electrons. So that what will happen? So it will share the electrons by with the another element. So ionic compounds, we know that it is a strong high and low melting points because of this. So melting and boiling points will be low when we compare to. So these carbon compounds have low melting and boiling point compared to ionic compounds because it has less force of attraction between these atoms. So there are no ions present. In ionic compounds, there is a more force of attraction so that it has high melting and boiling points. So that here what will happen? It forms a covalent bond. Covalent bond means it will a bond that is formed by sharing of electron. So if why this is carbon has only this much special. If you come to the 14th group element, all the 14 group elements have 4 electrons in the outermost shell. Okay. So 14th group elements have 4 electrons in the outermost shell or tetravalency only. But why we'll consider this carbon is very special. So because, so another elements what it will come under 14th group is carbon, cesium, tin, lead, These all are come under 14th group. So when it comes top to bottom, the size it will be decreases. If you come to the carbon, it is top, so that it is size of the carbon is very small, that is having 4 valency electrons. So small, it has having 4 valency electrons, so that this is very special. So if we come from top to bottom, being a small atom having 4 electrons is the special property of this carbon. By this carbon it has, so that it cannot gain electron and it cannot lose the electrons. So, but it needs to octet structure. What will happen? It will just share the electrons with the another atoms, another elements. That is why, so to become stable, what will happen? It will be share the electrons, that is called covalent bond. So carbon will share the electrons to become a stable. That bonds we'll call it as the covalent bond. So here what will happen? One more thing, it is hydrogen. So if it is carbon has, either maybe it has the self-linking capacity. Carbon has self-linking capacity. That self-linking capacity we'll call it as a catenation. So how it will be happen, we will see. So catenation. Now we understood what is tetravalency, what is covalent bond. Now it is a catenation. Catenation means self-linking capacity. Okay, self-linking capacity means carbon with another carbon. That is catenation. Self-linking capacity. The carbon have self-linking capacity. Carbon with another carbon it has. So then how the formation of bonds between these carbon atoms or hydrogen atoms or bonds will be takes place by sharing electrons. How it will happen? By sharing of electrons, how the bond formation will be present? How the share their electrons to form a bond between the atoms, that we will see. So one, it is hydrogen atom. If I take, there is a, if you come to hydrogen atom, there is a one valency electron. So that is 1s2. Electronic configuration of hydrogen is 1f2. So if you take this, one hydrogen atom has one valency electron, another hydrogen atom has one more valency electron. By bonding with these, by sharing these valency electrons, it will form a bond. By shared pair of electrons is said to constitute a single bond, that is called a covalent bond between the two hydrogen atoms. Here what will happen? Single bond is formed between the two hydrogen atom by sharing a electrons. So here not formation of ions, here only just a sharing a electrons. This single covalent bond is represented by the one line, that is hydrogen and hydrogen have single bond. So how this covalent bond for double bond it will be present between the atoms. So if you take a oxygen, oxygen has, what is the electronic configuration? It comes 2, 6. Outermost electrons present is 6. Valency electrons here is 2. Valence is 2 in 1 carbon. So if you take 2 oxygen atoms, what will happen? Here 2 valence electrons present, here 2 valence electrons present. So here by sharing 2 electrons with another oxygen atom, it will form a two shared pair of electrons here. That is 2 shared pair of electrons it will be present. That is called double bond between the atoms. So if you take a nitrogen atom, so sharing of electrons in the nitrogen atom has 3 valency electrons. So what will happen here? By sharing a paired electrons, this nitrogen valence electron, this nitrogen valence electron, and these two nitrogen valence electron, paired share of electrons. Here what will happen? 3 valency electrons it will be formed with another valency, 3 valency for nitrogen. That is, it is triple bond. There is a formation of triple bond. So how the formation of methane it will be takes place? Usually carbon it will be, most of the times it will be formation of bond with hydrogen. So if you take a carbon and hydrogen, so carbon and hydrogen, carbon has 4 valency electrons in here. 1, 2, 3, 4 it is present. So if you observe this, you can understand carbon has 4 valency electron. So what will happen? It will be combined to form a bond with 1 valence electron of a hydrogen. That it forms 4 bonds around the carbon. It has 4 valence electron. It needs to get active structure. It will with a shared electrons, with a shared pair of electrons. What will happen? It will be combined with 4 hydrogen atoms and it will become a CH4. That is. So versatile nature of carbon just now we studied, that is catenation. How these covalent bonds will be formed by sharing of electrons with the another elements. So by based on this versatile nature of carbon, scientists made millions of carbon atoms artificially. They synthesize and naturally they are occurring because of this nature. So carbon has the unique ability to form other atoms of carbon. So some other atoms if you take, they cannot make a bond with the same atom, but carbon has the unique nature that it has the capacity to form a bond with another carbon. This property is called catenation. These three are important. What is the tetravalency? What is catenation? Why carbon is special? So carbon is only having the capacity, self-linking capacity. It has only bond formation with the another carbon atom. This property is called catenation. So this carbon, it has the capacity to form a long chain or ring chain. So like this, it can go on the compounds which may link carbon atoms may be linked by single, double or maybe triple bonds between the atoms, and also it has the capacity to form single bond, and carbon it has the capacity to form double bond, and also it has the capacity to form triple bond between the carbon atoms. So if the carbon have single bond between the atoms, this is called saturated compounds. If the carbon having double and triple bonds, it is called a unsaturated carbon compounds. No other element exhibits this catenation, means self-linking capacity. No other atoms can exhibit. So that this has a special property, unique property for the carbon. So this unique property helps to make a long chain, carbon having a long chain, or maybe carbon having a ring chain also it will be present. So ring formation structure will be present. So if you know the allotropes of carbon, that is graphite and diamond are the allotropes of carbon, right? So if you observe the structure of graphite and carbon, you can understand how the self-linking capacity of carbon with long chain or maybe ring form. So since the carbon has valency 4, it has the capable of bonding with 4 other atoms of carbon or maybe some other mono elements. So compounds of carbon formed with the oxygen, with the nitrogen or maybe sulfur, chlorine, many other elements giving rise to compounds with the specific properties which depend on the elements. The other hand, the carbon present in the molecule. That is, so again bonds that carbon forms with most other elements with a very strong, making these compounds it will be stable. So one reason it is the formation of strong bonds by a carbon. It is small in size. It enables to nucleus to hold and to share pair of electrons strongly so that the bonds formed elements having bigger atoms is much weaker. So if it bonds formation between these carbon atoms, if the atoms will be bigger, so the it will be formed by elements having bigger atoms. It has which much weaker. So because carbon is very small atom compared to 14th group, so having 4 valency with a small in size, it will be it cannot hold many atoms. So it has self-linking capacity having the carbon. So that is the one property. It has the catenation. So it has how this will be happen saturated and unsaturated carbon compounds, how it will be formed, we'll see. So that is how the self-linking capacity will be present in the carbon. So I said allotropes of carbon will be diamond and graphite. So if you observe the structure of diamond, how the one carbon will be linked with the another carbon atom. So it will be in the form of ring structure, how it will be present. It will be the structure of carbon compounds, that is diamond and graphite. That is, so if you see this, what will happen here? They may ask. So they will ask, what is the versatile nature of carbon? What is the use of this compound? So because of this versatile nature of carbon, so there is a millions of organic compounds will be synthesized. So this is how the chain linking capacity and branch linking capacity of the carbon will be present. So how the bonds between carbon-carbon bond is very strong, hence it is stable. You should know if it is linked with a carbon with another carbon, then it will be very strong. So compared to ionic compounds, there is a force of attraction between the carbon compounds is very less. Melting point and boiling point of a carbon compounds is also very less, and also it has the capacity to form a carbon-carbon double bond, carbon-carbon single bond, and carbon-carbon triple bond. So what is saturated compounds means carbon-carbon having a single bond is saturated. So carbon-carbon having triple bond is double bond, and triple bond is unsaturated compounds. So this is very important. Remaining about more about carbon compounds we'll study in the next class. Thank you for watching.